we've got maybe, I would say, 2 or 3 kilos here. Yeah, it's nothing like 15 kilos. Normally, as I mentioned 2 years ago, you would have had to pasteurize that, and we're gonna go through the pasteurizing process in a minute. But the regulations since then have been changed
by CCN,
by campaigning of this very powerful group. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is demonstrate how to feed it. You
stand back.
Get that? You need a special tool. And just give it a quick it works very good as a hangover cure, this first thing in the morning. No, joking it. So you would put some, I'll leave some for the next group, yeah? And then if you had an auger here, you would turn it and it would introduce it in there. But if you don't, you use this special tool available from Killen, and then you would poke it in, okay? And if you go next to, or you keep on listening here to this pipe there, what will happen? Some digestate will overflow because we're pushing extra.
So what's causing it to move out?
The pressure.
The pressure.
We're increasing the volume inside, yeah?
Yeah. Because it's a sealed system, so the gas pressure pushes it out.
Just a valve unit there then somewhere. Some kind. There's actually no slurry valves except for the bottom drain in the whole system. This is, it's like imagine if it was just water and you poured in a bucket of water, it would just displace and come out the other side.
So do you put water in here?
You put water?
Okay, sorry, I've caused a bit of a mess here. There's different lines of thought about putting water in or not. If you don't put any water in, the issue you have got is that you have more of a concentrated mixture of feedstock inside, which can potentially cause some of the problems which Charles Banks from Southampton University discovered, which is if you feed your digester only on food waste, due to the lack of some of the trace elements, the digestion process eventually collapses. It could be quite a long time down the line, so you could be digesting fine for over a year, and then what would happen eventually, your digester would slowly die. It won't continue producing. So one of the lines of thought is that if you mix some water with this, with your food, you're not putting so much concentrated stuff in, and normally when you macerate, let's say if you were macerating this through something like a kitchen macerator or hand grinder, you would need a little bit of water to make it like porridge kind. Initially, when you start the system, you need to also put some water to sort of to bulk up the volume. So you would fill it up with a proportion of fresh cow slurry, and ideally to speed up the process with some inoculant from already running digester to introduce the special methanogens. If you didn't introduce those, your digester would still start producing methane, but it would take maybe a bit longer, more like 1 month, whereas otherwise...
What do you use here?
To start it up, exactly that. Yeah, we use some fresh cow slurry and also some inoculant from Newcastle University's digester up in Morpeth.
Okay.
And
so how often do you have to?
You only have to do that initially when you fill it up. After that, the system has these bacteria, and if you keep the condition right, you don't have to do it.
What was the Morpeth digester fed on?
Just on turnip trimmings and sort of
So it's a
farm digester. Yeah, no food waste or anything like that.
So you're only using the moisture from the actual food here. You're not adding any water at all in the process.
Depends on. It's quite. I didn't answer that very clearly by the sound of it. But for example, it very much depends on what you're putting in.
Right.
So for example, if it's something which is like really thick and difficult to push it in, you might actually. It's a bit like cooking. You need to sort of use your own judgment and add a bit of water to make it a bit more pliable. You don't have I mean, once this is up and running, it's quite gooey and the right consistency. You wouldn't really have to add any water.
Okay.
On a bigger digester, and even on this size digester, if you add in a lot of water, you have to be thinking about your water consumption as another feedstock. And a clever way of saving on your water usage is to, instead of adding water, you could be mixing some of the spent digestate, which is in your storage tank, with your food waste, and put that in, because that's already got the right consistency, bacteria, etc. And you're not buying any extra water, and you're conserving water, yeah. But there's no problem putting some water every now and then. It's sort of a personal preference how liquid you want to run your digest. So what we have here, we've put some. It stays inside for about 30 to 40 days. Okay, so what we have got here, that's the hopper where you feed it from. On Angela's one, that was on the picture, on the PowerPoint, you saw that it had some silver foil around here. The reason for that is to keep any heat losses down. The beauty of this unit is actually it has got some insulation. Do you know how much it is? It's about
couple inches, probably.
2 inches of insulation underneath the fiberglass, which is a very neat way of doing it, because you can clean the unit from the outside and it's insulated. But the problem with this unit is that it's got heat escaping from this hopper, and also around here. We actually had some insulation, but it was taken down to clean it up for the event, make it a bit more presentable, yeah? So when you're designing your own digest, a very important issue is to minimize any heat losses you have got. That will mean that you have to put less energy to keep the bugs up to temperature and to keep your gas production up to a maximum.
Could you say something about the heating? Is this heating system working here?
Okay, I'm just gonna talk through that now, yeah? So what happens is the bugs do their work inside, then you've got a window for monitoring any scum inside if it ever develops froth. On here you have got the control gear which works this, and also the immersion heater on the other side. At the top of the unit you have got the gas pipe, which comes out and goes through a little box on the other side. If you you can see here, what this is it's a gas scrubber, which is it removes some of the impurities from the gas, because when you produce the gas it has got various impurities. The most concerning one is hydrogen sulfide, which at some quantities, quite small quantities, can be potentially hazardous to the human being. So what we have got in here is carbon activated charcoal, which removes the hydrogen sulfide, and then the gas which comes out of the other side is clean and safe. And then if you follow me out